So it's around the halfway point in the month of January right now, and the last big update that we received in Brawl Stars was around the halfway point in December. And if we see a consistent update schedule from Brawl Stars, normally we see it one every single month. So we're coming up on that time where I believe an update should be coming around the corner here very, very soon, within the next couple weeks with my predictions. So I believe it's about that time we start pushing out really good update ideas that I would like to see in this next Brawl Stars update or updates to come here in the near future. So we're going to be going over some really good ideas that I would like to see in this next Brawl Stars update when it comes to brand new content. So with that being said, hopefully you guys are all excited. Let's get straight away into it. Here we go. So I'd like to start off today's video with some of the things that I believe would make sense to come in an update following such a big update that we received in the month of December. I don't think we should have our standards as high as that one because that was kind of the exception. We got a lot of really great content in December. So I think it's about that time to kind of pull back the reins with this update and kind of get back to the normal schedule of things, getting fresh new content, things that improve the game, but maybe not a crazy amount that we received in December. Now, once this next update does come around the corner, you guys know I always really like to cover everything that's in those updates, giving you guys all the information, the sneak peeks, everything to follow. So make sure you guys are following the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay notified for when those updates do come around the corner because I believe it is coming very, very soon. Now, when it comes to Brawl Stars updates, as a community, we kind of come to expect a few staple content themes within them based on past updates. For example, I'm talking about your new brawler, your possible new game mode, your maps being added to the game, as well as your balance changes. Those are kind of the secure content things that we can kind of expect from an update coming from Brawl Stars. So I believe that all those are viable for the next update. So when we're talking about a new potential brawler in this next update, the last two brawlers that were received in December were a little bit on the higher rarity end of things. We received an epic as well as a mythic, so I think it would make sense if we did receive a brawler to be a little bit on the lower rarity end of things. For example, maybe a trophy road or a rare brawler, just to kind of make things a little bit equal, balance things out just a little bit. Now, I do really enjoy Kairos's theory about the families being released inside of Brawl Stars, where I believe it's not so much as a theory anymore. It's pretty much been proven based on past updates that we received as of recently, where brawlers are coming out fitting a certain theme. Some of them a bit more obvious, I might add, but you know, you have your graveyard theme or your undead brawlers being Frank, Mortis, and Ems. We have our pirate brawlers in the game being Tick, Daryl, and Penny, and several others like the Mystics, so like Jean, Tara, and Sandy. So there's a lot of different groups or families that we're seeing in like groups of 3, but there's a lot of other ones that are a little bit on the undetermined side of things, like your Rosa and Bee. They fit into something, but we just can't put a name on it. It's not as obvious. So some of the brawler families or groups of 3 that we have left to conclude in Brawl Stars would extend to, you know, Max, one of the newest brawlers that we just received in this last update, fitting into a new like superhero family. So we could see a possible new brawler fitting into that realm of things where they bank everything on like a super ability, kind of like Max's speed. I'm not sure, that'd be a really cool addition to the game, as well as we're seeing things such as the Rosa family making sense. So maybe a brawler fitting into that realm of things. Cairo speculated on like a plant monster, not having like a biologist and her assistant. Maybe they're working on a specific monstrosity, like a plant monster. I think that'd be really cool. I really like that speculation that Kairos had on his part, but expecting things to fill out those groups of 3 would make sense. Also, as you all know, we were teased a new environment in an animation that was released during the Halloween update, pointing to an Arabian theme coming to the game. Now, of course, that doesn't have to be the next update, but that could be the next big theme inside of the game coming with a possible new brawler. And if we're talking like Arabian or those palaces that we see in the background, you're thinking like your Mystic theme, so your Tara or like your Sandy and your Jean theme. So a brawler fitting into that theme would definitely make sense, but I do want to point out that we already have a group of 3 with the Mystic brawler, so we might have a new group of 3 or maybe a brawler fitting into something else that would also make sense. Now, I do want to point out that it's not so far-fetched much to expect that next big theme coming in this update here very, very soon. I know a lot of people are saying that it would make sense to come in a few updates from now, but if you take a look back at the last couple updates that we received in Brawl Stars, the last two was the graveyard theme update and the pirate theme update. So we're jumping theme to theme. We had the lime skin update smashed in between, but it was very, very small. So it does look a little bit on the weaker side that we might receive that theme, but it could happen. We're seeing a lot of themes coming in each of these Brawl Stars updates. So it's really, really cool if they do that, but we'll have to see. So next, moving on to potential new game mode for this next update, and in my opinion, I very much so agree with Lex's opinion on this one. I don't think we're going to be receiving a new trophy-based game mode in this next update. I feel like we've been kind of flirting with new game mode ideas in the last couple updates with Graveyard Shift and Present Plunder, though you can make the argument that they were meant to be limited game modes when they were first released, with kind of the hopes of it being popular enough and well received by the community to make them permanent. But I don't think we're going to be receiving a new trophy-based game mode because we've been trying a little bit and it's been kind of unsuccessful. I'm sure they're going to kind of revert their attention to other things that they're going to be adding. But I do feel like it would make sense to see a new ticketed game mode inside of Brawl Stars. I feel like it's been a very, very long time since we've had a new one, and I feel like the ticketed game mode allure every single weekend is kind of losing its hype. When they were first released into the game, or whenever we receive a new one, it kind of reinvigorates that hype. It's a lot of fun, but it's been a really long time since people were genuinely excited every single weekend for that next game mode to come around the corner. I remember when they were first released, everyone was coming up with new strategies to beat a certain time in those game modes and fun things to do in them, but I feel like that hype has kind of come and gone. I think we're desperately in need of a new ticketed game mode for sure. So moving on to the next kind of staple thing we can expect, which is new maps. Now, we did receive in this last update a lot of new maps, so I'm expecting in this next update some being removed, some being supplemented, moved around, maybe new maps being added back to the game that we once had in Brawl Stars. I could potentially see new maps being added into the game if we do receive a new environment, but right now, new map wise, I don't think it's a necessity. We have a lot of new maps that we're already trying to get used to with the whole pirate ship environment, so I don't think that's kind of up on the tier list of yes, we need that in this update. So we'll have to see moving forward depending on what we receive in this next update. If it is the theme, I could definitely see it. And finally, the last staple thing that we can kind of come to expect in this update, and that is most definitely balance changes. We're definitely going to get a set of balance changes in this next update. I feel like we can kind of already expect that. As a community, we know that in each update there should be a balance change because it's important to the game. We don't want dominant brawlers to stay in the meta for too long, or weaker brawlers if we flip it on its head. It makes the game stale if things stay the same for too long. And I'm not necessarily complaining about the meta that we're currently in. I think it's actually pretty decent. It's been a really long time since we've been in a meta for as long as we have, and it's been tolerable, though we definitely need some changes. I am kind of getting sick of the Daryl Rosa being at the top and some of the weaker brawlers being weak for quite some time now. You know, your Dynamites and Mortises. So now that we kind of got the staple things out of the way, next we got to get into the realm of things that could potentially be coming to the game that we're not necessarily used to. And I know a lot of things have been floating through the community for brawler remodels. Lex brought up that a Pam remodel is necessary. Also, Kairos brought that up as well. But there's a bunch of other brawlers that the Brawl Stars dev team has also been taking into account that they need to remodel. So according to Frank, some of the brawlers that they have their eyes on for remodeling is Crow, Daryl, Jesse, Pam, and Penny. And I feel like Pam is kind of up there on the list, but it'd be cool to see like a brawler remodel to Crow or something like that with all of his skins that he already has in the game. We might see like an updated version of the White Crow skin, so that'd be really, really cool. So possibly expect a new brawler remodel. And then of course, how could we forget, we're definitely going to be receiving skins in this next update. We can kind of come to expect that with every Brawl Stars update. Skins are very, very important for the game's progression as well as pay-to-play players, keeping them interested in the game. There's like a line that you cross when you first start Brawl Stars. You really enjoy like the process of leveling up your account and the progression of things, unlocking new things, but then you get to a certain point where the cosmetic things are a little bit more important than the progression. So it's really important to release kind of both sides of the thing with each update. So now that we got all that stuff out of the way, kind of the staple things that we can expect from updates that I could definitely see in this next Brawl Stars update, it's time to get into the fun part of the video, and that is things that I desperately want to come in this next update or updates to come. If you made it to this point of the video, hopefully you did, comment down below #update for your boy Ray. Let me know if you're watching all the way through. So we're really only going to be talking about one concept for the remainder of the video that I would really love to see being implemented in this next update or updates to come, and that is the concept revolving around overdrives, the concept that Kairos developed in his most recent update video. Or it doesn't have to be overdrives, it doesn't necessarily have to be third star powers, just a basic thing being added into the game that adds a bit more depth in the gameplay that I feel like is pretty fundamental for Brawl Stars' future later on down the road. I feel like the gameplay or the skill requirement or skill cap inside the game is very linear. It's not overly complicated compared to a lot of the other competitive mobile games on the market today, and I'm not asking for it to be very complicated at all. I like the simplicity of Brawl Stars, but maybe just a little bit more depth, especially towards the later progression of your account. So maybe if you're a bit further into the game, being able to unlock these overdrives, maybe after star powers even. So the way the concept of overdrives works would be you would have a button on your screen, not a joystick. I feel like we have plenty of joysticks and it would be a little bit hard to manage with 4 instead of 3 in the game, but just a button that would unlock a special ability for the brawler for a short duration. These could be very specific to their brawler. For example, maybe a new supportive mechanic for Poco that isn't necessarily just healing. Maybe you can have like an attack damage increase by hitting that overdrive for a short duration. You could tap the overdrive, tap a person on your screen being like a teammate and giving them an attack boost for like 5 seconds. I feel like they should be a little bit less intricate than star powers, but still give you some benefits with your brawler. I feel like that would add a lot more depth to the game and make it a lot more interesting towards the later end of things while you're playing. Now, I know what a lot of you guys are probably thinking about these overdrives being that it would stink not to be able to unlock them when you first start out Brawl Stars, but I feel like that is very, very important. A lot of the changes or big changes made in Brawl Stars, like landscape from portrait and stuff like that, has been due to the fact that it's overly complicated right in beginning. One good thing about Brawl Stars is very simple. That's why we have auto aim in the game right when you pick up the game, so you know what you're doing immediately. When someone first picks up Brawl Stars and there's too many things bombarding them or too many things to learn as soon as they start, such as overdrives or star powers in the game, it could be very, very daunting and it would cause people to quit the game. We've seen it from updates in the past, such as when star powers were first implemented into the game. We had the tree progression system that was way too overly complicated, though it was very, very fun for existing players in the game that already knew the basics of Brawl Stars. So unlocking something later on during your progression, I feel like is very necessary, and I think it would be a lot more fun, give you a little bit more determination to push up that high or continue with your grind throughout Brawl Stars to someday get to that point. I feel like it'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, guys, I've been talking long enough about update speculation and things that I would love to see in this next update. Make sure to let me know in the comments down below what you're hoping for this update. I feel like some of the stuff that we discussed in today's video is definitely feasible for this next update in the future. Time will tell. Make sure to stay tuned for update information once we do get it. I feel like we can definitely expect something here very, very soon. But hopefully you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to slap a like on it. Really appreciate that. And with that being said, make sure to keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.